Why do Korea's presidents keep getting impeached? And why is there always a shaman involved? Korea just had two presidents impeached in less than 10 years. Both of them looked cool on paper. No messy family, no scandals at first. Both ended up in prison. Both had a shaman involved somewhere. And the judge who sentenced the wife of the second one died inside the courthouse 8 days later. I'm not saying Korea is cursed, but I'm not saying it either. Part 1. Park Geun-hye. Korea's first female president, elected 2013, on paper impressive daughter of the dictator who built Korea's modern economy, spent her entire life in politics, never married, no children, no messy personal life to exploit. She like the clean option, the charges abuse of power, bribery, coercion, Samsung, Hyundai, LG, Korea's biggest companies, forced to donate hundreds of millions of dollars to foundations controlled by someone who had no official position whatsoever. When she was elected, journals praised her as a martyr, Margaret Thatcher. But in reality, that someone was Choi Soon-sil, the daughter of a shaman cult leader named Jae Taemin, a man who had attached himself to Park's family after her mother was assassinated. Who told Park he could channel her dead mother's spirit? The daughter of a dictator, the most powerful woman in Korea, had been under the spiritual influence of a shaman family since she was a teenager. Choi reviewed presidential speeches, had access to classified government documents, effectively co-ran the country from the shadows. With no title, no election, no accountability, Park was impeached, convicted, sentenced to over 20 years. Later, pardoned the shaman's daughter got out too, felt that way, we'll come back to it. Let's keep it simple, and now let's focus on current case. Yoon Song-yeol. 8 years later, different president, same pattern, same party. Yoon Song-yeol, former prosecutor general, elected 2022, the law and order candidate. The man who built his career putting corrupt people in prison. On paper, the opposite of Park. Married, tough, blunt, the kind of man who seemed too pragmatic for mysticism, still no child, relatively good looking wife. People thought he was just a young hipster president. The charges: insurrection, martial law, December 3rd, 2024. Yoon declared martial law. It's like radical, sent military helicopters to National Assembly. Soldiers broke through windows, tried to prevent lawmakers from voting. He actually dug like holes in bunkers underground. National Assembly voted anyway, climbed walls to get there. The martial law lasted 6 hours. Stock market, crypto, everything dropped. Currency dropped so bad. Yoon is impeached, convicted, life sentence. More years on top of that, and his wife Kim Gun Hee. Stock manipulation, luxury gift acceptance, including bags from the Unification Church, a religious organization that was simultaneously seeking political favors from her husband's government. 4 years and the shaman connection. Yoon's inner circle had documented relationships with a fortune teller who was said to have significant influence over personal decisions in the Blue House. Different president, different shaman, same pattern. Part 3, the judge. And then there's Judge Mr. Shin, Seoul High Court, one of Korea's most respected judges, Seoul National University, law graduate, elite career. He's from a lawyer background, described by colleagues as a strict, principled man who believed the law meant something. He was assigned the appeal in the Kim Gun-hee stock manipulation case. He increased her sentence from 1 year 8 months to 4 years. He found her guilty of the stock manipulation charges the first court had acquitted her on. 8 days later, May 6th, 2026, Judge Shin was found dead inside the Seoul High Court building. His family had reported they couldn't reach him. Police found him inside the courthouse. He left a note, said, "I'm sorry, I'm living on my own." The investigation found no signs of foul play. Korea's legal system processed the information, issued statements of condolence, moved on. Nobody official has answered the obvious question, what does it do to a person? To be the judge in the middle of all this, the politics, the pressure, the knowledge of what the system is and what it's supposed to be. Imagine he has been from an elite background. His dad was prosecutor. He lived an elite life, no personal life. And look at this. Sacrificed 50, 60 years of life for this? Part 4, the pattern. So let's look at what we have. 2 presidents 10 years apart, both conservative, both appearing to have clean, simple personal lives. Both ends in prison, both with a shaman somewhere in the picture. Park Shaman was her spiritual guardian since childhood. Yoon Shaman was apparently advising on who should run the country. In between, a judge who sentenced the president's wife to 4 years, who died in the courthouse 8 days later, left a note. Korea is a country that produced a constitutional court that unanimously impeached 2 presidents, a legal system that put a sitting head of state in prison, a democracy that actually works, and that it removes people who break the rules. And yet, the most educated country in Asia, the most credentialed, the most formally rational, and somewhere above the judges and the prosecutors and the constitutional scholars, there's a shaman making decisions. It's not coincidence, it's a pattern in a country that runs in hierarchy and credential. The people at the very top apparently still reaching for something older, something that doesn't require a law degree. Is that crazy? Probably. Is it uniquely Korean? Ask how many of their presidents consulted astrologers. Ask a French, ask American how many decisions were made by faith advisors no one elected. Korea is just honest enough or chaotic enough to get caught. Part 5, the ending. 2 presidents, 2 shamans, 1 judge in a courthouse. Korea keeps building the most impressive surface, the fastest internet, the cleanest streets, the most dramatic democratic process, and underneath, something older, something that credentials don't touch. The shaman isn't the exception in Korean power. The shaman might be the rule.